Hey sweet friends, welcome back to the Updike Family Homestead. I am sure by now you have seen the viral Dubai chocolate bar, and let me just tell you, this is now the third batch that we have made or I have made. It is so addictive. So do not try this if you don't want to become addicted to the Dubai chocolate bar. But anyway, I'm going to share the recipe and I'm going to show you all the steps that we use to make these delicious little treats. I've actually made quite a few as little just gifts for my neighbors and my kiddos, just because I'm thinking about them and I love them and I wanted to share. So listen at this crunch. Look at that. Oh. Divine. Let's go make them.
The ingredients that you will need is a half a cup of pistachio cream, 1 tablespoon of tahini, 1.5 cups of kataifi, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and 16 ounces of milk chocolate. So I'm showing you guys this thermometer right here. If you want to temper your chocolate, you want to make sure that you keep it around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've put that thermometer in there. Now I do not own a double broiler, so because of that, I'm using just a heat safe bowl over top of a pot of water. Super easy, and I'm going to slowly heat this chocolate up so that it doesn't get too hot too fast, using about medium to medium high heat. The next thing that I'm doing is preparing the kataifi. Now, kataifi is nothing but shredded phyllo dough. I know. So really, truly, you can make this using phyllo dough from your grocery store, but we're going to toast that kataifi. And to do so, I am putting it into that saucepan with the butter. I'm melting the butter, slowly heating the butter and the kataifi just to make it golden brown and nice and toasty. While that is cooking and that chocolate is still slowly melting, I'm going to go ahead and mix up the rest of the filling, which is the pistachio cream and the tahini. Now, I actually happen to have a little bit left over from a batch that I did previously, so I pulled that from the fridge and I'm just adding it to the mixing bowl and making sure to get all of that mixed up and well incorporated with one another. Now, you definitely want to make sure that you don't just leave the kataifi cooking on the stove because you don't want to burn it. So I'm just kind of going in sporadically throughout and giving it a nice stir. That way I can make sure that all of the kataifi gets nice and toasty. It's almost finished, and I'm actually going to show you what it should look like. Not burned, but not too light either. You want it just right and nice and lightly golden brown. The same thing goes for the chocolate as well. You don't want to just walk away and leave it. You want to make sure that you are going in and stirring it up, making sure that you're getting all of those chocolate wafers from the bottom, and just making sure that it stays an even temperature. Keep your thermometer handy. That way you know when it reaches that 90 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, friends, so once that kataifi is nice and toasty and golden brown, it's good to go ahead and remove it from the stovetop and go ahead and mix it into the rest of your filling. You want to make sure that you stir it really, really nicely to make sure that everything is nice and well incorporated. Don't forget to keep check on that chocolate. You obviously can melt the chocolate in the microwave, but I find that it's easier to watch the temperature and to control the temperament of the chocolate by doing it on the stove top. And doing it this way instead of with the double broiler is just fine. I don't make candy that often, so there's just no need for me to add another pot to my kitchen cabinets. Once the chocolate is all the way melted, it's time to go ahead and start lining our chocolate bar liners. So I have 3 different ones here. 2 of them are the same exact size. They're a little bit smaller, but it's perfect for little ones, or like what I'm doing for my neighbors, just giving them a little chocolate treat. But the other one is a little bit bigger, and I'm using that one to make the candy bars for my children, because I know how much they love these, including my hubby. He actually really liked it as well. So they're going to get the bigger ones, and then my neighbors and friends will get the smaller ones. But the method is still going to be the same. So we're just carefully lining each of the chocolate trays with some chocolate. Now you might see me here, I'm adding in some sprinkles. I kind of wanted to play around and see, hey, could I possibly add in some cute little snowflakes and sprinkles to this? Yeah, I did, and it worked. I wish that it was a little bit better seen once I popped them out, but it's okay. It's still going to be delicious. We learn by trial and error, right? But anyway, so you want to make sure that you don't overfill the chocolate trays. Remember, this chocolate bar is going to have that kataifi pistachio cream filling. So we just want to basically put a nice thin layer into the base of each of those chocolate bar molds. This way, it's going to give you the nice base layer. We're going to set it to the side and let that harden up. Don't worry, it won't take long. You can even pop them in the freezer or the refrigerator to just get them to harden up a little bit faster. But really, it took about 30 minutes for it to solidify before I could add in the filling. Now, to evenly spread out that chocolate for the base layer, I'm just using a very thin, small spatula, but you can use your fingers as long as your hands are clean. But because I'm making these as gifts and not just for myself or my hubby, obviously I'm going to be using a little kitchen utensil. So this does the trick. And I'm just giving it a nice even spread all throughout. I am kind of going up on the sides of the chocolate mold, again, to encase or to help encase or enclose the filling on the inside. You'll also see me tap that down. The reason that we're tapping it is because we want to make sure that we get all of the air bubbles. So now it's time to put in that kataifi pistachio cream filling. To me, this is the best part. I could eat this by the spoonfuls by itself. So anyway, I'm just using a tablespoon, like a kitchen tablespoon, and I am gently placing in a scoop. And I am using my fingers here. Don't worry, my hands are clean, I promise. But I wanted to make sure that I got this nice and evenly spread out all throughout. I'm I'm not like shoving it in there, but I am pressing very gently into the chocolate mold. Now for the fun part. So once all of my chocolate molds have their base layer, then they have that filling. Oh, it's so good. Now we're going to cover each of the individual chocolate bars with a layer of that melted chocolate. Again, I'm just using my thin spatula, or my very small spatula, to spread that chocolate out evenly, making sure to coat all of the filling. I am going to tap that cutting board a couple of times to make sure that there aren't any air bubbles. You'll also see that I probably put a little bit too much chocolate on there, so I'm just using that spatula to scrape it all the way off and onto the next set of chocolate bars, and that is completely okay. So you want to make sure to spread that out and then set it to the side while we cover the rest of the chocolate bars with some more melted chocolate. Once we have covered all of our chocolate molds with the finished chocolate part, go ahead, set them to the side. You need to either set them overnight or in the refrigerator or the freezer, whatever. You just want to make sure that they completely harden and solidify. So all I'm doing now is removing each of the chocolate bars, and then I'm putting them into a little cellophane gift bag. And actually, the chocolate bar mold things, they will come with some candy bar bags. Now, you also saw that I broke off like the edges of the candy bar. That's just where the chocolate hardened across the tops. Don't worry, it's not going to go to waste. I'm going to add that back into that chocolate bowl so that I can add it to the next batch of Dubai chocolate bars. Anyway, I will make sure to have the full recipe as well as the link for all of the products that I used down in the description box below. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you give this recipe a try. I can't wait to hear how much you love it. Have a great one, guys. See you next time.